Welcome back, everybody. James Bouligny here for Cover 1. I am your host. I am accompanied by my co-host, Ryan Chadwick. How you doing, buddy?
Week 5, man.
And Paul Harris is out today, but hey, we're going to push along just all the same. Before we get into really any of the matchups, we're going to hear a quick word from Kicking Cuts. Looking for a fresh cut without breaking the bank? Well, Kicking Cuts is now open at 4238 Sherwood Way. Haircuts start at $19 for kids and $22 for adults. They offer hot towels, beard detailings, multiple discounts, and they also sell hard-to-find hair care products. Kicking Cuts is locally owned, and they're ready to get you looking sharp at an affordable price. Kicking Cuts, located at 4238 Sherwood Way in San Angelo. All right, Chadwick, the Bobcats got a big win last week over Belton. They have Waco this week. Tell us what you know.
Man, okay, first off, that game last week, Coach Smith agreed with my sentiment here. That was the most complete game that Central has played so far this season. They were sound on defense. They executed well on offense. And when the defense needed them to just grind clock, the offense delivered in that second half. The game could have gone horribly wrong for them in the beginning. Belton gets an onside kick to start the game. The defense comes out, stops them on 4 downs in a row, gets a turnover on downs. Central snaps the ball on offense. Micah's first pass is tipped by one of his receivers and intercepted. Defense comes back out, stops him on 4 downs in a row. So a disaster start turned into the best possible tone setter that there could have been, and Central just ran with it after that. Rallied off, basically 50 points on them. I think they ended up with 49 in the game. But Jimmy Edwards finally came alive. He had 3 touchdowns. And that running game between Darius Hewitt, Elijah Allen, and Zay Johnson, they had over 200 yards rushing. Took the entire third quarter on their second drive of the second half. Just completely took Belton out of the game. Great overall performance. With that being said, they travel to Waco on to play another away game on Friday. Waco is winless this year, so like you would think, hey, this is a team that Central's kind of just impress their will on, but Coach Smith says that this is a big physical team that they just really haven't gelled well together yet. So the Bobcats cannot take them lightly. However, I do think the Bobcats are heavily favored in this one. They need this win for some confidence building heading into the break next week before they start district in 2 weeks. But yeah, like that kickoff and that game's in Waco on Friday at 7 p.m. I think the Bobcats get another big win.
All right. Let's kind of talk about Lakeview right now. Lakeview 4-0, playing incredible football. Paul said last week that I'm gonna kind of just listen to Paul here. He's been covering Lakeview for 25 years, almost 30 years now.
Almost 30 years, yeah.
And he talked about how he'd never seen a Lakeview team get hit in the mouth like that and then get back up. And he said this team's just different. There's a different feeling about it. To have Isaiah Rios break off a 95-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter, and then have Chris Alviso with the go-ahead touchdown at the end after Lubbock came back and scored in between that. I mean, that just shows how much pride these kids have.
Well, and James, think about some of the Lakeview teams of the past. They're not sticking with it, and no shade to them as people at all, but like we've seen Lakeview crumble in some of those games where like they're winning and the other team comes back and then the other team gets ahead and they just never catch back up. I think that's what's different about this year's team. They have the grit. They have that determination. Like, they're not going to get up. Even if they get punched in the mouth, they're going to stand back up for another round. Like, don't you agree?
Yeah, no, I don't think we're being too harsh either, man. We're always hard on Wall because the expectation out there is excellence. Yeah. So let's be hard on Lakeview. You're 4-0. Like, and if they get a win, and this could be a trap game against Levelland. Levelland's had their number the past 3 years. They beat them 3 times in a row. And Levelland hasn't necessarily, played a bunch of weak teams. They've played decent teams. They're 2-2, and the teams they've beaten they're still pretty good teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think they played Dalhart and someone else. I had it in my preview, but we got to be hard on Lakeview too, man. And if they want to go, if they get a win here, I really feel like they go into district undefeated.
Well, and the crazy thing too, James, is like if they get a win here, they have a good chance to start running the table all the way until to come into that Titanic, district clash with Andrews at the end of the season. So it's
and even Andrews isn't having the best season. So far.
I know, you can say what you want. Like Andrews as a program, very steady, very rock solid. Even when they lose, you'll know they'll get things together. But I mean, it's just a credit to the hard work and the determination that those boys have this year, and credit to the coaching staff. Like
I wanted to credit Guevara too.
Yeah, it can't couldn't have been easy when you have several losing seasons to still stick with it and still believe in these boys and still give your best every year. So yeah, all the credit in the world to Coach Guevara for this season. Looks like the Lakeview Chiefs are finally getting some payback for all their hard work.
And look they had Sterling Gilbert out there at one point, didn't they?
Yeah. That was
offensive coordinator at Texas.
Yeah,
he was there for a couple seasons and then dipped. Just so you had to give Guevara credit for sticking through it.
Yeah,
and I absolutely do.
Yeah. So when's that game? Friday at home.
Friday
San
at
Angelo
home.
Stadium.
Levelland's coming off a 3-hour road trip.
Yep.
Lakeview has a really good chance here.
And we'll just see if Alviso can keep this ball rolling. Him and Isaiah Rios, that offense has just been clicking, man.
Oh, it absolutely has been. Let's go to another offense that's been clicking. It's their homecoming. It's Sweetwater and Wall. Excellence is out there at Wall. Sweetwater last year jumped out to a lead, and then Wall kind of took over and did what Wall does. What do we need to be critical about Wall of this week, Chadwick? You went out there and talked to Slaughter yesterday.
Man, their backups need to do a little bit better of stopping guys scoring late in the fourth quarter. Nah, that's more of a joke. But with that being said, the starting defense has allowed 3 points all season. Just throwing that out there. Wall needs to, I talked to Slaughter, and he said what they're really focusing on this week is playing clean, perfect football from a technical standpoint. They want to execute well. They want to make sure that the receivers are coming out of their breaks on time, the ball is being delivered on time, no turnovers, no fumbles, no false starts. So they've gotten to a point now where we know how good Wall is, and they proved that again last week. They hung 50 on Monahan's before the backups came in. And I don't expect anything different from Sweetwater. And when you're facing off with opponents that aren't quite your caliber, and that's not throwing shade at Sweetwater, but that Wall is a potential state finalist here. I think
potential state champion here.
Yeah, potential state champion, exactly. I do think that Slaughter's right when they're they got to start looking at certain aspects of the game that they can just improve on within these matchups. And I know he wants to get out of it injury free. Just like any other coach does, but yeah, they're really looking to be technically perfect, and especially on a crazy week during homecoming, lots of distractions. Let's see how the guys handle it.
I like to see them run the ball a little bit. I don't think they have a 100-yard rusher all season because so many guys take the ball. I think they have 4 different guys back there taking the football. Well, I like to see them to commit to that run a little bit because you could argue that Gunter game was because they didn't run the ball. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to see them. Hey, you're the better team. You're the better team. Try putting in some schemes to, hey, let's see how this works. See how this works. And then you're going to be able to do that through district too.
And it's funny enough, that's one of the things that me and Coach Slaughter talked about yesterday. It's like every game that they've played this year, it's like they've alternated what side of the offense is going to be more dominant in that game. Last week specifically, Coach Slaughter wanted to give York a bunch of opportunities to throw the ball because, the week previous against Jim Ned, they had to run the ball a lot, right? And to your credit, James, and they ran it well. But that was the first time all season they've really run the ball a lot. And so, we'll see what they do this week. They might, say, hey, York needs more opportunities to pass it, but, no one would be mad at seeing Wall just kind of grind that one out.
All right. And then we're going to send our man Ernesto out to Tahoka. They're coming to Grape Creek. Tahoka won this game last year. But, hey, Grape Creek's been playing good football this year. How'd I see them win this one? Teal's got them guys playing well. Darrell West, is that the running back's name out there? Darrell West has been playing really well. Sorry, Garcia's been, I guess he's kind of taken a little step back. But West has been playing out really, really incredible.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an ankle or something or what, but yeah, we have seen Sara Garcia take a bit of a step back. But what's been impressive to me about this Great Creek team, I think they have a chance this week to solidify themselves as the second best team in that district with another good win over another good football team, right? In that district, maybe Kahoma is going to be able to challenge them for that second spot, but huge shout out to Coach Teal for how far he's driven this program forward. What was it? A couple years, James, where they won one game or they went 0-10? What was it?
I'm not quite sure.
But like just the turnaround on that, and not only like because we say it almost every week, man. The better you do in district, the higher seed you get, the better chance you have to win a playoff game. Getting that 1 or 2 seed is so important, and it looks like that 1 seed for Great Creek is going to be out of reach this year, just because they're with the juggernaut that is the Wall Hawks. But that 2nd seed is not out of reach, and I do think that Teal and company have a really good chance of going to get that. The scheme works well with the kind of athletes they have. They really like to grind that clock, and yeah, man, like I want to see them take it to Tahoka, because Tahoka likes to throw the ball, right? And so let's see how well they match up with them to see if they can actually give a Wall a run for their money here in a couple of weeks.
All right, and we're going to hear a quick word from Shelburne Financial. At Shelburne Financial, you are more than just a number. They will help you plan for retirement, prepare tax documents, and more. Whether you're looking to grow your savings or plan for your future, the experienced team at Shelburne Financial is here to help you and guide you every step of the way. Give them a call at 944-9447 or head over to 3177 Executive Drive and invest in your future. All right, we have some other notable matchups coming up. Cristobal and Mason. Mason took a loss last week at home against Junction. The first time Junction has beat Mason in 18 years. I'm going to guess 95% of the kids on that field weren't even born the last time Mason or Junction beat Mason. It was a great game. I'm glad I was there for that one. Speaking of Junction, Falls City is coming to Junction. That's a playoff matchup from last year that Junction won. Excited about that one. Ozona and Miles.
That's a rough week for Miles, man.
Yeah.
They dropped a close one to El Dorado last week. A little bit of a heartbreaker, and then on to
you have the monster
that,
coming in that is Christian Villarreal.
450 yards last week. Has over 1,300 yards on the season already.
I think he's got 1,424.
Yeah, 1,424 yards on the season.
I think that's more
already.
than he had all last year.
Yep. So, Miles, do your best. I believe in y'all.
Their defense, though, has pulled out 2
that is true.
Victories.
They have. Miles has lost 2 games this year by a couple points. You know what I mean? So like that defense is not like untalented. You got to contain him. At least don't let Villarreal break big plays. It's easier said than done, man. I hear you.
Contain. Look, I went out to the Brady Ozona game, and I thought Nasir Menefield and DeMarcus Reed and Johnny Roque. I was like, oh man, they did a pretty good job making them go other ways. No, he still had 230 yards.
Yeah.
He had almost, I think he had 27 carries, but he still had 230 yards.
Instead of averaging 15 yards a carry, he only averaged 9 yards a carry.
Yeah, that's not nearly as impressive. All right, and then Merkel and TLCA, Chadwick.
It's TLCA's homecoming this week. I'd like to see the Eagles go out there and play their hearts out. Unfortunately for them, Merkel's playing some pretty good football this year. I just want to see TLCA to continue to take steps forward. They've already almost matched their. They either have almost matched, have already matched their point total from a year ago, and I want to see them eclipse that this week against Merkel. If anything, aim for 20 points, play some good defense. Maybe you're having a great homecoming night. But. TLCA's had a bit of a rough go of it, but
it doesn't get easier when they get to district either.
No, it honestly it gets much more difficult. But with that being said, this team is miles better than it was last year, and it's all cyclical, man. It'll turn over, and the Eagles will be back. Last year, what was it? 2 years ago that they're the only team in San Angelo that made the playoffs. So
all right, and then. Sands and Robert Lee, I think those are both 4-0 teams last year. Robert Lee, Robert Lee pulled it out on a Brenner Sherwood touchdown with 5 seconds to go, I believe. So that should be a really good one as well.
Robert Lee's up to what, number 5 in the state?
Robert Lee is number 5 in the state. I'm telling you, in a few weeks, Robert Lee and Water Valley are going to go at it. Gordon's number 1 in that.
Yeah.
And Gordon's not moving. Gordon took it to Thorndale, and Thorndale's 11-man, and they were in the playoffs last year. Put Duncanville on your schedule and try to really impress me, Coach Reed.
Come on, Gordon.
But I don't think Gordon's moving from that first ranking. But Water Valley is playing extremely good. And I think they would meet up before State.
It'd be the regional final, wouldn't it?
I believe so.
Either that or at least in the semifinals.
So let's see what, in a couple weeks, that game between Robert Lee and Water Valley is going to be a huge deciding factor in where this district goes. Because in six-man, only 2 teams go out of each district, so it's a lot harder to advance. But we're going to hear a quick word from Angelo MRI, and then we're going to come back with our Player of the Week.
Have you ever needed an MRI? Do you know someone that needs an MRI? And did you know that you have a choice? When your doctor orders an MRI, tell them that you choose Angelo MRI. The founders of Angelo MRI started Angelo MRI when they faced the high cost of MRIs from traditional medical facilities. That's why Angelo MRI offers a better way, a high-quality MRI for just $5.95. And Angelo MRI accepts all insurance, saving you time and money. It's your health, your money, and your choice. Angelo MRI, 4114 South Jackson in San Angelo, or look them up at angelomri.com. Remember, when your doctor orders an MRI, tell them that you choose Angelo MRI.
All right, we have our Player of the Week. It is not Christian Villarreal. Sorry.
Although he did have 450
yards and like 4 or 5 touchdowns, something ridiculous like that. But our Player of the Week kind of had to go to Isaiah Rios. He really kept the Chiefs in that game to continue this perfect season so far. 19 carries, 269 yards, 4 touchdowns, including a 95-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter.
Man, and how important was that 95-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter, man?
Oh,
if they don't score quickly on that drive, they're not coming back, you know?
No, and we talked about it earlier in the show. Like, they got hit multiple times. They got right back up. That's awesome.
Well, and Rios continues to play better and better every week. Like, his yards per carry average keeps going up every single week. Because like the Lakeview's offense is known for Alviso just slinging the ball all over the place, but that's not possible without Rios busting a couple big runs to keep the defense honest, right? Like, you can't run a 5 or 6 man shell over the top to stop Alviso when Rios is in the backfield threatening to just run it down your throat, you know? So that's what Lubbock High tried to do, and Rios made them pay for it.
I will say that running back from Lubbock, Bo Davis, had like 300 yards. Yeah. I mean, it was a great...
He had 350, right?
Yeah, 350. Great ground and pound game, old school Texas football. But Christian Villarreal, we do love you here, man. I was there last week at your Built Ford Tough presentation.
The only media, weren't you?
I was the only local media. Where's the drive, man? Where's the performance?
Yeah,
they make pills for that. You can go... Y'all probably need prescriptions. But it's weird that Christian Villarreal has eclipsed that number twice already.
You're right.
Because he got it for week 1, where he had 371 yards and 7 touchdowns. In week 2, he had 373 yards. And when Paul sent me that, I'm like, dude, you sent me the same stats.
He's like, nope.
I was like, oh, no, this is the same deal. And then he came in on Monday, and he just like, oh, my goodness. I was like, what? He's like, guess how many yards he had? I said, 400. He goes, more. I was like, insane from that guy. Insane from Christian Villarreal. We're going to hear from the ArcLight, and we'll be right back. Catch all the collegiate and pro football action at the ArcLight Bar and Grill, located at 441 Rio Concho Drive, inside the Clarion Hotel in downtown San Angelo. Watch all the close calls and game-winning touchdowns on one of the biggest screens in West Texas. This weekend, games include Texas Tech at Utah State and the Texas Longhorns against Sam Houston State. After the game, Gage and the Grease Monkeys will be playing live music immediately after Arch Manning and the Longhorns take it to the Bearcats. The ArcLight Bar and Grill, the sports bar and live music spot in San Angelo. Chadwick, you're the college guy. Let's talk about it.
All right, so let's talk about some Angelo State Rams football first. The number 6 Rams hosted Western New Mexico last Saturday at LeGrand Stadium, and it initially looked like it would be kind of a shootout. You know, Western New Mexico came out. They're known for their air raid offense, where they run a lot of RPOs, a lot of screens, trying to get their guys to space on the outside. They ended up scoring on their opening drive, and they actually led in this game. Ended up being the only time they would lead in this game, but they still led in this game. Ended up just going back and forth to the point where it was 14-all before Angelo State just finally took over. Ended up taking a 28-14 halftime lead in that second half. West New Mexico scored a couple times, but ASU couldn't be stopped at that point. Ended up winning that game 56-27. The Rams moved to 4-0 on the season with that win. And they just looked impressive, man. Defensively, they added another interception, which is now their 19th straight game with at least an interception. I don't know what you say to that other than, wow, that's impressive by Coach Gersh and company. But other than that, they're doing all this with the backup quarterback. We still don't know when Braden Fuller's going to be back. But the Rams are off this week. It's a great week for some rest and relaxation before they really hit the meatier part of the Lone Star Conference schedule. With that being said, the Rams are 2-0 right now, and they have a very good chance of running that table. I know they still got to play Central Washington. It's going to be tough. But, yeah, they're off this weekend, but they are back next week. Moving on, my Texas Tech Red Raiders went into Utah. Every single pundit across the nation was picking Utah to win this game, and Tech put a beat down on the Utes. Very close second half. Tech was leading the entire game, but Utah's defense was playing well enough to hang around. In that second half, Baron Morton goes down with a head injury in the third quarter. Redshirt freshman Will Hammond steps in. Everyone's like, "Oh no!" Like Tech's, this is classic Red Raider fashion. They're going to go ahead and lose this one now. But Hammond proved all the haters wrong, played like a Heisman candidate. He ended up going 13 for 16 for like 170 yards and 3 touchdowns. Put up 24 points in the fourth quarter and absolutely put the beat down on the actual Heisman candidate, Dampier, for the Utes. And Utah is now not ranked. Tech moved up 5 spots to number 12, and the Red Raiders defense is for real. Moving on, Tech is off this week, and they travel to Houston next week. Moving on, we got Auburn visiting number 9, Texas A&M. The Aggies were off last week after their big win against Notre Dame.
Controversial win,
say what you want, but like I don't know anyone here in Texas who ever likes seeing Notre Dame win.
You're right.
I'm not one of them. Join a conference already, you cowards. Anyway, Texas A&M is hosting Auburn. Auburn comes off of a tough loss against Ole Miss last week. Oklahoma. I'm sorry. Excuse me on that. Tough loss against Oklahoma where Mateer actually broke his thumb in that game, so Oklahoma quarterback's out for a couple weeks, but that's neither here nor there. This is going to be a tough matchup.
One pick.
Yeah, very true. It's going to be a tough matchup for the Aggies. We're going to find out how for real they actually are because we still don't know how good Notre Dame is, to be honest, because they're 1-2 on the season. You know what I mean? But Auburn got a couple losses, but in their losses that they've played close games, but then they've barely beaten Baylor at 1 point too. We don't know how good Baylor is. But good test for the Aggies. And then finally, number 10, Texas, travels to the Swamp to play Florida. Now, Florida, at this point, their season's done. They're already talking about firing their head coach. They've already lost 3 straight games this year. And the latest one coming against Miami last week. With that being said, Texas hasn't looked great either. After that, loss that was in a close game with Ohio State.
Hey, they looked really impressive over Sam Houston State.
Yeah, man. But they did not look impressive over San Jose State or UTEP, though. That's the problem. They beat Sam Houston State 55-0. Arch Manning, bowed up over a guy that he juked out in the end zone and should have been a flag, but it's not.
Put your Texas Tech away, Chadwick. We're talking about Texas.
That's true. Hey, I am one of the people that are actually still on Arch Manning's side. I think that Longhorn fans were a little too quick to turn on him. At the end of the day, he's still this is his first year starting, and he's going to have some growing pains. But this has got to be the week where he actually shows something because SEC play is here, and if the Longhorns want to keep pace with the rest of the leaders in the conference, including the Aggies, the Aggies jumped the Longhorns this week in the rankings. They can't feel good for Texas fans. But Arch Manning's got to show something. The Swamp's not an easy place to play, but I think it comes at a great time where Florida's struggling. So, yeah, Arch Manning needs a big week. A bunch of those All-Americans on that defense need to keep playing like they're playing, and the Longhorns need to keep rolling if they want to stay relevant. Because guess what? Tech keeps winning. Pretty soon the Longhorns are going to be ranked behind both the Aggies and the Red Raiders. Now, wouldn't that be something, James?
Calm down, Chadwick. That has been our college coverage brought to you by the ArcLight. Final thoughts, Chadwick. What do you think?
Man, I think this week is a great opportunity for the Central Bobcats to build some confidence headed into their bye week before they start district play, man. Because I was looking at the Permian schedule and Midland Lee's schedule. Midland Lee's been playing some, tough people to start the season, and then they finally got their first win last week. Who was it against? Abilene High, and they beat them by 2 touchdowns, man. As you recall, Abilene High beat Central by 3 touchdowns. I know that game was a little wonky with some special teams touchdowns, but Central has got to keep improving, and like some confidence this week on the road would do a lot to do that, because Midland Lee is coming, man. Like after the bye, Midland Lee comes to San Angelo Stadium to play the Bobcats for their opening district win. So yeah, the Bobcats have to get a win on the road this week.
All right, I'm gonna take it to. I'll go Lakeview and Wall. Lakeview, this could be a trap game for you guys. Like you could very easily fall into that. You need to be ready. You need to be preparing like for every other week. Keep it the same. I hope you enjoyed the win over the weekend, but you had work to do on Monday. I hope you take it serious, because Levelland is not going to be a pushover. And into Wall, I'm just excited to see how they play, man. I mean, I was at 2 of their games this year already, and they were
impressive,
really impressive. Yeah. So I'd like to see maybe some of these new schemes. I'd like to see some different runs, or just something different from the Wall Hawks. Something that you're gonna beat up on this team. Let's make it interesting and try some new schemes out. For just you don't have to run many, just 1 or 2 here and there, and go get a win on homecoming.
And please stay healthy.
Stay healthy.
Seriously, stay healthy. Don't risk any injuries just because you do want to try something new. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, stay healthy.
This team needs to be healthy.
All right. Well, this has been Cover 1 for Ryan Chadwick and James Bouligny. We're out.